morning, everybody. It is Monday, August 3rd, and that means it's time for another episode of Chatting with Agnes and Cecilia. I'm one of your co-hosts, Cecilia Sepp. I am also the founder and principal at Rogue Tulips Consulting. We offer consulting services exclusively to nonprofit organizations. We also offer association management services and support distinctive projects. I'm here today with my co-host, Agnes Amos Coleman, and my good friend. And let's start over to Agnes so she can say hello.
Thank you, Cecilia. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to our global audience, wherever you're watching us from. My name is Agnes Amos Coleman. I'm an author and a consultant. Over to you, Cecilia.
Great. Thank you, Agnes. And we're here today with a first-time guest, Tim McCarthy from Silverado Printing. Welcome, Tim.
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. And we're really excited about today's topic. Tim is here to talk about how he pivoted his business in response to the COVID-19 pandemic, and he made some really big changes that paid off in the long run. And we really think that our audience will benefit a lot from his insights and tips. So, Tim, I'm going to throw it over to you. Can you tell us a little bit about Silverado Printing, and then tell us some of the things you did to shift and adapt to the pandemic?
Sure, thanks so much. Silverado Printing is a full-service print marketing company. So typically what we do, just to sum it up in a quick nutshell, is we put logos on marketing products. Anything from print material, business card brochures, postcards, to pens, drinkware, logo apparel, etc. And during the COVID-19 pandemic, most marketing projects came to a screeching halt. So Silverado Printing pivoted and started selling PPE items, personal protection equipment, such as face masks, KN95 face masks, nitrile gloves, shoe covers, splash guards, all types of non-branded type equipment. So typically what we did is sold logos on promotional products and printing, but during COVID we pivoted to non-branded type products. So it was a big change for us, but one that was essential for the business community.
Well, so do you put logos on the PPE products?
So a lot of the requests that we are getting as of late is to put logos on branded face masks. So initially, when the face masks first came out and most customers were looking for the KN95 type masks, those are not branded, those are just generic. The white or the surgical blue masks, we were also selling those as well. And those did not have any type of branding on them at all. But as of late, more and more customers are looking for cloth masks where they can put a small logo in the corner of the mask, so it's not, real big in front of them, but just a small logo on their mask. So it's part of their uniform, basically. And many businesses that are dealing with homeowners or consumers, it is part of their uniform as they go into their house, just like a polo shirt or some other type of branded logo wear. So they're including the masks with their logo as well, just for security purposes.
Of course.
Wow, that is incredible. What inspired you to move from printing into PPE equipment? Because frankly, I just don't think a lot of printing companies would consider that.
We have the distribution channels, and so many of the PPE products were coming from China. A lot of promotional products come from manufacturers in China, and so the distribution channels were already in place. What needed to transpire was trying to get everything quickly through customs, and that became somewhat of a challenge. And some of the foreign governments started putting up barriers to do that and requiring additional inspections, and then trying to clear customs on this end became additional challenges. But eventually, all the products were able to clear and come through, and then once landed here domestically in the United States, products were a lot more readily available, and we were able to fill orders much quicker than initially. Initially, it was taking many weeks to fulfill the orders, but after that, we were able to fulfill orders within a week or so.
Wow, that is great. Agnes, did you have any questions?
Sure. Actually, it's just a comment and some observation, and then, of course, a question. First of all, let me just commend you, team, on your the ability to be nimble in face of a pandemic and really meeting a different strategy and a different need. I think that's very commendable. And for our association community and our business community, particularly small to medium business, what would be the advice that you would give to this community who are trying to transition in face of a pandemic, transition their business strategy, just like you've done? What advice would you be able to provide this community? Because this is an essential services and you've done it very well, and we definitely wanted to share that thought process with this community as well.
Well, thank you for your kind words. I appreciate it. A couple ideas come to mind. One, as the association's employees start transitioning back to the office, that has some challenges in and of itself of how they're going to transition and whether they're going to have half their staff come a couple days a week and the other half of their staff come the other couple days a week, and maybe they have an A and a B team. And so there's a lot of challenges logistically for their employees within the association of how they're coming back. We have prepared a lot of PPE kits for office staff and employees so that when they're transitioning back to the office, they have PPE kits available with masks and gloves and hand sanitizer, et cetera, all within a pouch or a bag. So we've done a lot of those for office staff, as well as signage, so that there's floor graphics marked for social distancing and conference room signage and things of that nature that need new attention as employees re-enter the workspace. So we have done quite a few projects in that realm, but also a lot of associations are starting to experience the challenge of not being able to have conferences and conventions, and it's been extremely challenging for the association world not being able to have these conferences. And we're even starting to work with some associations that are having virtual conferences, and even doing packages where they're doing some promotional products or sponsorship, or exhibitors are contributing products to be able to send in a care package to all the virtual attendees, and those are getting mailed across the country. So it's been unique in many different facets, not only for the workplace itself, but also for conferences and conventions that are experiencing a whole new reality and a whole new normal now.
Wow, and those are really great examples too, especially the kit. That actually is an idea that was getting kicked around on Collaborate at ASAE about a month or so ago, maybe longer. It's like people keep saying time seems to have no meaning anymore. But it was like earlier this summer, we were kind of kicking that idea around, and I think that's a great idea. There's options out there, and I think that's what these examples show. We do have options. We can go back to the office. I did hear the American Bus Association open their office up officially today. Actually, it's their first day back in the office. So there are people doing that. But Tim, let's talk a little bit about your thought process. Like, okay, let's look back at March before we had an actual lockdown. And you're looking at business and you're thinking, oh my gosh, this lockdown's coming. What am I going to do? So like, what were like maybe the 3 to 5 questions you asked yourself about moving your organization forward?
Well, one of the first things was it came to a screeching halt. All of a sudden, we are slammed and extremely busy, and all of a sudden it just came to a screeching halt on, I think it was March 13th, and from thereafter it was just almost scary to the point where it was so quiet, and business came to such a screeching halt. I wasn't used to that. Been in business for over 5 years, and just every day is go, 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 go. And when it changes so drastically and so quickly, you're not ready for something like that. But so the transition of, okay, there's ways that we can help survive a pandemic and generate business. And so it was kind of a natural progression for us to try to get into some of the PPE and help our customers with those types of products. So it was probably only about the last 2 weeks of March were extremely quiet, and then the beginning of April started transitioning into the personal protection equipment, and we started seeing a lot more increase in that capacity, and people started realizing this might go on a little bit longer than we anticipated. I think when it first hit all of us and we were put on a stay-at-home order, we felt like, okay, it might happen in a couple weeks, and here we are 3 to 4 months later, and
Right.
we're still wearing face masks, and we're still feeling a lot of the effects, and many people haven't even returned to offices, or some of the retail environment is seeing an increase in business, but there's so many aspects of life still that are gradually starting to come back, that it really changed for such a long time. So we were able to transition, I think, quicker than most businesses, and thankfully we had something to transition to, because it's been challenging, but less challenging than many other retail businesses who had to lock their doors for months on end. We were able to pivot, and I am so blessed for that we had something to be able to pivot to, as opposed to just lock the doors and hope and pray that we'll be able to reopen them someday.
Wow, and that's really a great viewpoint. So you saw that the environment changed. You looked at what your customers might need, and if you could fill that need, and you did it. And I think that's a great progression that any of us could follow. What do you think, Agnes?
Absolutely. I think the key here is the ability for a business in this difficult times to be, nimble and really think on their feet. We've talked about this on this show, that businesses who are willing to open their minds to possibilities are going to survive, and those who are not willing to see beyond what's going on are going to fail, unfortunately. But as I've always said, there is a silver lining with this pandemic. It presents a lot of opportunities to think very differently and take different approach. I was looking at a very creative show. It's called a tech show here in the African part of the world that I'm in. And it was talking about a new invention where they're using face masks, but they're using it to translate into different languages. So you can wear your face mask and then it can speak to different languages, I think 7 languages or so. Again, breaking that communication barrier that people see the face masks present, because when you're wearing a face mask, it's not as easy to communicate, and this technology is going to give you that opportunity to be able to be very seamless in your communication, and it just becomes another tool that we use as we continue to wear this costume, as I would say, for a very long time to come.
That is fantastic. That people who know me know I love Star Trek, and that sounds a lot like the universal translator. I'm all for it.
Yes.
I will say, after going to the dentist last week, and she had on so many masks, the hygienist, I could not hear her
That's it.
So let's add a speaker to that, tech guys.
Well, and that was the whole idea of this technology, so that you can wear it and then be able to communicate very well and clearer, because that's really been the challenge.
Yeah, oh, that is such a great example. So unfortunately, as often happens on this show, we get into a conversation and then our time runs out. So we are already like at the end of our usual episode time. But Tim, what's the one thing you'd like people to take away from your experience? And then how can they contact you if they'd like to follow up and maybe get one of those PPE kits?
Great. Yeah, just in summary, I have to say I am so thankful and so blessed that we have had something to be able to pivot to. And in return, I've tried to pass that generosity along. And so we've helped so many different organizations with donating masks and donating yard signs for graduates who weren't able to have a regular graduation ceremony. And it personally hit me so hard that these students and these young people weren't able to have the things that we've become accustomed to over the years. And so I've tried to give back as much as we're able to at Silverado Printing to help the community and the donations and the frontline workers and the health workers. We're trying to donate as much as we can. So, and we're able to do that through companies that order from us and help us with our increase in business through the PPE products. We're able to use a portion of that to donate back to the community around us. So if you'd like to get in touch with us, our website is silveradoprinting.com, and my email is tim@silveradoprinting.com, or you can reach us on the phone at 703-407-8720.
Oh, that's excellent. Thank you, Tim. And before we sign off, Agnes, did you have any closing thoughts?
No, I just want to appreciate Tim for coming on the show, and thank you for sharing your insight on how you can actually be successful in the face of a pandemic. I think that's really remarkable. Thank you.
I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you both so much for this chance.
You are welcome, and thanks for coming on the show. We've really enjoyed it, and we'll have to have you back and see if you stay in the alternate product business after the world kind of goes back to maybe printing stuff again. We'll have to check in with you on that, because I think we will be wearing masks for a while. But this is great, and your sharing and giving back embodies a lot of what we try to do here at Rogue Tulips, of helping our community and sharing what we can with our community. So thank you again, Tim, for being on. And we have to go rogue for now, but we will be back next week with another episode. So keep your eye out, subscribe if you haven't subscribed to this feed yet. And you can learn more about Rogue Tulips at roguetulips.com. Again, we offer a broad variety of services to nonprofit organizations. And we also support the 501c League, which is a virtual organization for everyone in the nonprofit community and the people who love them. Check out the league at 501cleague.net. They're offering some courses. There's going to be more courses in the fall, so keep your eye open for that. And as Agnes and I like to say, take 15 minutes and talk with somebody, because you might learn something. So thanks again, everyone, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.